Can you believe how much has happened since our first dress rehearsal a week ago? Can you believe it? Feels like a long time ago that you all came in and auditioned. Believe it or not, in February. A lot has happened in that time.
Wait a minute.
One of the themes that we're going to be talking about tonight is it seems like a long time ago, but it really wasn't. We're going to be talking tonight mainly about seniors and celebrating seniors. And for some of you who have been in the show for 4 years, it probably seems like a long time ago. It really wasn't. But so much has happened. So many good things have happened. This is my favorite room in the entire school. And on Monday, it's just going to be an empty black space. But for 4 performances across 3 days, you did something amazing in this space. Something that you have never done before. So we're going to celebrate that tonight, and we're going to celebrate those things that have happened in here, and we're going to celebrate some of the moments that you felt to be like indelible, and then we're also going to celebrate some of the things that seniors have done to make this like a special space. On the one hand, these are just like
It's a tree.
Bird
nerdy. Tradition.
And again, it's not a super like specific systematic voting method, but it comes from you, and it's an anonymous ballot, and it honors the members of the cast from you. When your parents tell you that you're beautiful or smart or clever or wonderful, all right, that's great.
Shut up, Mom. Come on.
But you have to say that your peers were, as of maybe a couple of months ago or even a couple of years ago, just strangers. Just people you never met. They don't know you anything. And for them to celebrate you matters. So let's hand out some awards. First of all, we've had 4 different people running lights for our show. This is the first time in 6 years, I think, that we've had 4 different lighting people. And so I want to make sure that we celebrate and thank the people who stepped forward without any warning to be our light board operators. They've done a fantastic job. They've stayed late for rehearsals. They've watched everybody perform multiple times. It is a colossal act of service and love. So let's get Cosette, Nora, and Rasha. Make sure she gets a certificate. All right, we have a very distinguished award called the Best WTF Just Happened. Yeah! It's of like sublime randomness that can only happen in a high school stage when teenagers are writing the dialogue. So we have this year we have 2 awards for Best WTF Moment. First one goes to, I guess Bear Grylls is our principal now. Challenge a wildcat, you can win a lanyard, and that's how you become a principal. Like, you know, all these people were spending years in school. All right, I really wish he was here because every time he did this, I had the same reaction. What am I even watching? The best WTF Just Happened moment. John Nolan performed surgery on for the best Goosebumps goosebump moment. This is a moment where like all of a sudden the hairs on the back of your neck stand out because like you get a shiver. Either the writing is so good that you're like sort of arrested by it, or something happens in the dramatic action that like is absolutely terrifying. A great example is last year when L.A. Giacaloni's she was talking to her brother, and suddenly she realizes that her brother's been replaced by a demon.
So good. Yeah.
Like,
So good.
I was thinking about that right now. We had though a moment that I think matches that, and it happened this year. Duncan Fox is confronted by a couple of award winners for best villain.
What?
But truly, this was one of the most terrifying creatures that has ever been on the stage. And frankly, however much money is being spent by the production crew of Game of Thrones, they're missing out. One of the best villains is Hannah's Dragon. She's loathsome, she afflicts you with allergies and besmirches your good name by calling you an alcoholic. The Cat Lady! Alright, this was one of the funniest iterations of the monologue show in a long time. Tonight especially was just bangers from beginning to end.
You're right.
We have 3 award winners for biggest laugh. I wasn't sure how to give this third one, so I'll just bring it up here because this name came up a lot of times for various performances and for various things. And the running thread for this particular award winner for biggest laugh is that he kept changing his accent. So biggest laugh goes to Carl Santos. For biggest laugh, this is one of those situations where I didn't get it when I saw it on the page, and I didn't get it when she was describing it to me, but when people saw it, they went nuts for it. Dia's mother chases her around the stage. All right, this is the shortest. We give an award for best single sentence, and it's always a really hard one because there's just so many good sentences, and keeping track of like all the really powerful, poignant messages like every year is really difficult. This is the shortest single sentence that has ever won this award, and it's the last line of Jan's piece. Nope. Yeah! Is for best message piece, and this was the most crowded category because essentially if you're talking about yourself or you're talking from the perspective of yourself, that's a message piece. It's another way of saying monologue. And so this was the most crowded category, and I'm always excited when a senior wins this because when you become a senior, like the good thing is you have all this wisdom to draw on, but the bad thing is that like you have all this pressure because you have to sort of like try to pull together all these ideas that you have and all these things that you've been through, and so like it's really there's a lot of pressure on seniors to like try and say what they want to say in the way that they think is the right way to say it. And this person absolutely rose to that challenge. I'm so proud of them. Best message piece, Eli Obashan. choreographed in tonight's performance. But the best song is the one that we're going to hear Saturday night, Lauren Fisher. This is a really heavy year for skits. We had a lot of skits and a lot of like complex skits, character arcs, and like a variety of different characters. Interestingly enough, though, I didn't have to change the name on the award. Same person who won it last year, Madison Young. All right, we do an award for best comedic piece. The difference between a skit and a comedic piece is a comedic piece you're often playing yourself, or you're playing like a version of yourself, or you're doing like some sort of stand-up. So it's a little different from a skit in an important way. This year, this is somebody who like I had in philosophy class, and low-key would roast me like on the regular. So I'm so glad that I get to hand an award for best comedic piece. Jan!
Yeah!
That went through a number of revisions, and the person came in and had just a really a big ambition, like a lot that she wanted to say and a lot that she was trying to process, and she worked on this piece and worked on this piece and worked on this piece and refined it until it was something that was really tight and really powerful. And I think the people really responded to it in like a shocking way. I think at least shocking for her, because I don't think that she felt that like who would respond as powerfully as they did. The best dramatic piece goes to Lauren Gordon. For best poem, we had a number of awesome lyrical achievements in this year's monologue show. Interestingly enough, this is a duo poem, and this is delivered by two people who played off each other so well, both in like the composition and in like the performance of it. And I can't wait for them to have their moment on stage tomorrow. Best poem, Kat and Mary. Ensemble, and this year we had a tie, one for an ensemble and then one for a duo. And I really was like so pleased that there was some consensus on this, because both of these were really like some of the best teamwork in the monologue show this year. We're going to do the best ensemble first. This is for like a smaller skit, but a skit where like every single performer carved out a different character and had like different laugh lines, and really like it just was like just a team of stars. Best ensemble, Maddie Kornblum. Best duo in a little bit, but suffice to say that like this is an award they've been preparing for a long time to win. Enya and Alina. This is somebody who has never done the monologue show before, steps in, and is immediately a star. Stand up if this is your first monologue show. All right, have seats. Our best newcomer, sadly, is a senior. He won't get to come back. Jan. award is for most improved from previous years, and I'm so proud of this person because she's got a couple more years to be a part of this. And she really stepped up a ton this year. She wrote for herself a much more complicated piece. She had a number of like different things that had to go right, and her rehearsals were always really organized. Her cast was very responsive to her. She was a very generous writer. The most improved from previous years, Maggie Fox. All right, most valuable cast member. This goes to somebody who appeared in multiple skits. And what I love about this show is that we need a lot of help. We need like people who are willing to like jump in there, say a couple of lines, or people who are willing to come in there and like deliver like a monologue or deliver like a long comic piece, or just put a sock on their hand and like be a dragon. There's a lot of different things that you can do in the monologue show, and I'm so proud of the culture of participation that you have built. Because that's really what it is. Like, I just say we have skits, do something with the message board, and you do something with that message board. You like actually make these things come together. For all the times that you show up for rehearsals that aren't yours, for all the time that you like memorize things that aren't your words, you guys make so much of a difference and make this show special. And that's why it's so notable when you honor one of your own as the most valuable cast member. This year it's Madison Young. This is an interesting award that the cast has decided upon because in many ways it isn't a performance. In many ways it is like the opposite of performance. It's the most honest thing imaginable on the stage. So much so that I was, for the first time in a long time, really, really uncomfortable with its level of honesty. But to the credit of this performer, every time that she had to say the lines, be the part, recall the memories, and communicate the emotions, she was not just able to the task, but she was able to make somebody who doesn't understand. The best performance of 2019 Monologue Show goes to Alina Raymond. Honor our seniors, and I want to take a moment before we do that. I want to apologize and I want to thank. I need to apologize because there's been a lot of mistakes made on my part this week, tonight. I know my brain is a little fritzy right now, and if I've misspelled your name, or if I've called something wrong, or if I mess something up now, I want you to know that it is not because I don't respect what you have done, or that like you don't matter to me, or that you don't matter to this show. I mess up because I'm a human being, and a tired one. So if I mess something up, and I also want to thank you. This is a thank you to the entire cast. This is all 4 years, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, but especially seniors. I want to thank you for what you've done and for the culture that you've established this week and maintained. Okay, I can say what my expectations are, but that doesn't mean anything unless the leaders in the cast, the seniors, realize it and make it tangible. I'm so grateful to you for that. I don't know how to communicate like what it is to be an adult working with teenagers. It's easy for me to understand what it is to be a teenager working with adults because I was one many distant moons ago. But what you don't yet know is, this a lot of things about being an adult. It's filled with a sort of like shrinking of horizons and disappointment in the world and self, and a lot of compromises. It requires, to be an adult, extraordinary reservoirs of hope. And in a time where, to quote Yeats, it seems as though the center will not hold, the best lack all conviction, and the worst are full of passionate intensity, I get to come to a place every day where I can believe in somebody who is young, and I can believe in somebody who is talented and passionate. And that's all of you. So, you don't need to believe in adults. You don't need to believe in the world outside of these walls. You don't need to believe in the SAT, or college acceptance, or careers, or the judgment of peers. You can believe in each other. And you know that because everybody you're sitting next to is true. And everybody that you're sitting next to has been honest with you all week long. Every year, this is like what refills my battery. So I want to thank you for that. You won't know until you're an adult like what this means, but it's I don't know, it's the saving grace of my life. So thank you for that. All right, I want to do something remarkable happened 3 years ago. We had the largest class of sophomores, first-time sophomores that we've ever had in the Monologue show. And those people kept coming back. So we have 16 seniors who we're going to be celebrating by inducting into the Monologue Show Hall of Fame. And I usually say quite a lot about each person. I'm going to have to shrink it just a little bit to accommodate all the people who have given so much these last 3 years. But before we do that, I want to celebrate the seniors who came out for their first year. Can you stand up if this was your first year and you're a senior?
Baby boy!
Remember, it's never too late to do something extraordinary. And it's never too late to be part of something, and it's never too late to take a risk on yourself. You always have time to try something that you wanted to do. Seniors who did this for the first time, you brought so much to this year, and so thank you so much for that. All right, we're gonna celebrate our 2-year performers. Please stand up if this is your second year in the Monologue.
Yeah.
Now keep standing.
Oh,
keep standing.
stand.
All right, keep standing. I want to celebrate the people who have done this for 2 years because everybody in this room who's standing right now came back and did something more impressive and more challenging than what they did the year before. And whether it be something that is personal for a sibling, or something that is challenging yourself to do something that you've never done before, or something that you want to reach out for your mother, or something that you want to heal a trauma or deal with a pain, or something where you want to sum up all the things that you've learned about yourself, or something where you just want to steal some money and it be that way sometimes. Or something like that.
Don't be like that.
Neck chop. Dance like Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3 and celebrate your friends, or play something beautiful and haunting that lingers in this room, even in the silence, or try and heal from what has been an extraordinary trial. All of you have inspired the people in this room, and so thank you so much. Stage now. You can please see it. I'm sorry. All right. I'm going to call on stage now people who we're going to be inducting into the Hall of Fame, and we're not going to do this in any particular order. Just She's going to call you and call you on up. Let's start with Cosette. I think that like Cosette's piece this year really is the best at summing up what I think is special about her. And this is something I'm going to say about a couple of other people, but it's really, really true of Cosette. That she is an extraordinarily generous person. She wrote a comedic skit this year, and it was a very funny piece featuring a Mr. Russell impersonator. But what was so notable about it was that she wrote all the funny lines for other people. And that is like the ultimate generous thing to do for other people in the cast. All this week I've watched her checking in with people, talking to people, letting them know how much she liked their piece and how much she appreciates like what they do. And it to me really crystallized like what a generous heart she has and what a generous person she is. And you know, that is no more clear than when like I asked who will run the lights, who will sit here for 5 hours and push the knob up and down and like accommodate all these different cues. Cosette stepped up and did that for us. And so for being such a generous person, thank you so much. All right, Caitlin, come on up. All right, so Caitlin this year, she came in to audition and she says, Mr. Rossi, I'm not a funny person, but I want to do a funny piece this year. I want to do a comedic piece this year. I thought, oh, she's not a funny person. She's always laughing. She's such a big laugher. And what she did was she took on the challenge of writing a comedic piece and writing a stand-up piece. And writing a stand-up piece that worked for her. See, I think this is the key. Like, so many of the seniors that are going to be on this stage, the trick that they've mastered over the years is how to be the best how to be the best version of themselves, and how to be like the version of themselves all the time that they're proud to be. So when Caitlin got up here, she did not try to be a funny person any way other than herself. And she found her way to be funny, and it was really, really funny. She is somebody who has served her school for several years. She's somebody who is like a journalist and thinks very carefully about like her responsibility to like recording things and recording others. She's somebody who revises relentlessly. She holds herself to a high expectation. I think also sometimes, like with people who are cheerful, we tend to think of them as being simple or being beyond pain, or like it could not be farther from the truth. Like she is no less complex, no less than anybody else. She simply makes an effort to be the best version of herself at all times, and so we saw that this year. So thank you so much, David. Come on up. Yeah!
You're cute.
I was very proud of Carly's writing process this year because she took her time with it, and I don't mean that as like a backhanded, seniors miss your deadlines. I mean like she really wanted to get it right. She really felt like in the past several years she's been on a journey, and it has not been an easy journey, but it has been a journey to like the person that she is, to follow her own callings, and to be consistent and coherent, and have integrity as a person. And so the piece that she wrote was really about like that integrity and how hard fought and how proud she is of it. I thought it was a fitting way to end the show tonight because it's a piece that took her entire high school career to write. And she just finished it recently. So I'm really so proud of you because like it really took you, all your powers and all your talents, and they all came together tonight. So congratulations. Maddie.
Yeah!
I don't know if this is gonna like make me seem lame or not. But Maddie Nielsen is like, I haven't ranked them, but she's one of the 10 coolest people I've ever met.
Yeah!
You're automatically cool.
You really are. Because first of all, here's what I think is cool. You have to be funny. Like, you have to be funny. And she's very, very funny. You have to believe in being a good person and like morality and like being an ethical person. Like, I care about that. I think ethics are cool. She's a very ethical person. You have to have your friends back. You have to be a damn fine writer. You have to have the ability to snap a line of poetry together. But most importantly, you have to be like engaged in the struggle to be the person that you want to be. That's what it means to be cool. Like, I think that like we have like this idea that like it's, being cool means being chill. I say being chill is the opposite of being cool because like you're trying to force everybody else not to care, everybody else not to be accountable. I think the coolest people are the people who care the most, and I can think of a few who, care more than Maddie. So thank you very much for being with All right, Nisha. All right. One of the challenges that people have in the monologue show, if they do multiple years, is they want to write different kinds of pieces. Like, last year I did this tone, so I want to try something different this year. And then as you get to be a senior, I tried, I went really, I went really dark one year, I went really light the other year. I want to see what I can find in the middle. And so finding like that synthesis of like all parts of the self is like something that seniors really challenge themselves to do. And I think that Nisha did such a remarkable job over her time in the monologue show of like finding all the different notes in herself that she wanted to come into. Like monologue show kids, have silliness. She's very silly. Monologue show kids have profundity. She's very profound. Monologue show kids are artsy. She's artsy. Monologue show kids are angsty. She's angsty. Monologue show kids have parental issues they're working out, and boy, did she work some of those out. But like, with all those different notes, the challenge is, do you have something to say? Do you have something that demands that other people listen to what you have to say? Do you have a congealed thought that is like worthy of an audience? And what is so remarkable about the piece that she's written this year is that it does all the different things that are parts of Nisha, but at the end of it, like what it really is like about something, about an idea. And that's what it means to be a writer. So for finding all the different notes, but then finding the writer within her, congratulations and thank you so much. Grace. All right, so a little backstory on Grace's piece this year. She talks about like taking a final exam in a prom dress, and she did that in my class. Like she straight up walked into my class on the day of the final exam. There was not a small amount of like eye rolling or stink eyes from like some of the like more chill people. But it didn't matter because Grace was Grace with a capital G. And I watched her as a freshman in Mr. Schaub's play. And I could see even then that like this was somebody who was going to be on the Monologue show stage at some point. She was Grace with a lowercase g. But like each year she's become more herself, and each year she's like found more courage and found more things that she loves about herself. So that when one cold December she, gets up and looks in the mirror and says, "I'm a beautiful, awesome, badass." And I'm going to take the final exam in exactly the type of boss way that I always wanted to. So, for becoming Grace with a capital G, thank you very much. Congratulations. Soha! Soha is the co-president of the Spoken Word Club. Is that your title? And also one of the heartbeats of the Monologue show. And I think this is really important for us to recognize. Also one of the consciences of Nico Valley. There is like a lot of pressure. I feel it a lot during Writers Week, but I feel it all the time, to not say certain things, and to not bring up certain conversations, or to not speak up when a comment is made in class. And I think you all know what kind of comments I'm talking about. The kind of comment that the person probably wouldn't make if they recognized the consequences of it. But not everybody understands that words have different weight, and not everybody understands that some words are rocks, some words are weapons, some words are confetti, and that you have to be responsible for the things that you say. It is not easy to hold other people accountable for their words, particularly when, by doing so, you are making them feel shame for being irresponsible. Nobody wants that. As a teacher who has in the past been irresponsible with sarcasm or with language or with how he talked to his students or about his students, I don't like it when a kid comes to me and says, you handled that wrong, or I didn't like how you made me feel, or that makes me anxious. But God bless the kid who does. And God bless the kid who says, it's not okay. You need to be careful with your words. We need to be accountable to one another. You need to be an ethical person. Nobody asks to be that kid, and having the privilege to not be that kid is something that many people unconsciously enjoy. But that's not all that she is. I love the piece that she wrote this year because it's ultimately about what friendship is and what friends mean to one another. And I can't think of any concept that is more important for seniors to think about in the next several months, because you need to think about how to say goodbye. It's, in many cases, the most important thing you're going to write in your first 18 years. And Soha wrote a beautiful goodbye. So, thank you very much for everything you've done. Maddie! Wow. All right, there are a lot of different ways to get a laugh on this stage. Sometimes the easy way is just saying a dirty word, or stomping and yelling. Those are and I don't mean to cheapen that, but the hardest way to get a laugh is to write a really good in-character joke. What I'm talking about is a laugh that comes from the recognition that a character is built a certain way, talks and thinks a certain way, and is at pains and in conflict with their environment. It's the hardest laugh to get, and I think it's the best laugh. It's the reason that you keep going back and watching Parks and Recreation and The Office over and over again. Because you come to understand that so much of the humor that is special about those shows is that it's rooted in the character, okay? So for the last several years, quietly, the best joke writer, or the best writer of character-specific jokes has been Maddie. And if you don't believe me, watch the people she puts in an elevator and watch all the different ways that she gets them to bounce off one another and she gets their personalities to create the conflict. It's a very simple idea to put people in a tight space, but it's only made interesting by the personalities that you put in there. So for being just an incredible mind for character and for a really technically talented writer of jokes for characters. Congratulations and thank you, Maddie.
So proud. Iconic.
Okay, so Rhythm came in and auditioned with a piece 3 years ago as a sophomore. That's right? As a sophomore. And my first thought was, this is an extraordinarily gifted poet. Just something I was just not used to hearing in a sophomore. On a technical level, she was using figurative language and using conceit and using rhythm in ways that were really, really impressive. I don't know how much poetry inspired her, but she just had technically a surprising gift. She also, all 3 years, has written pieces that are challenging to listen to because they deal with abuse, and they deal with trauma, and they deal with power imbalances, and they deal with things that people don't want to talk about, don't want to hear about, don't want to acknowledge, because it demands acknowledgement. It demands acknowledgement that it's happening. It demands acknowledgement that there is a cost and consequence. It demands acknowledgement that not enough has been done to prevent it. It demands acknowledgement that the kids are hurt. And we owe something to those people. We owe something to the wound. I am thankful to you for every year challenging me to listen and to think about and to be a more thoughtful director. Because as an adult, I cannot look away from that. It's not fair, it's not right. And I don't think you were forcing me to do that or asking me to do that, but you did. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference for people who hear what you have to say and don't have the language or the articulation to say what they're feeling. It helps for audience members to hear it. And I hope it helps you to write it and to speak it aloud. Because one of the things that I truly believe, and I hope this is true for you, that when you write something, you gain a certain amount of control over it. Just by the act of moving the words around on the page so that they do what you want, you gain some measure of power over things that were mastering you. For being a person of extraordinary talent, and conviction, and courage, and strength, thank you so much for what you've done. Iconic. Eli. I've had Eli in class twice now, and it was it was a daily joy to have them in class and to listen to them. Not just because Eli is funny or intelligent, because they are, all those things, but because I admire strong people. You don't know somebody is strong until they're tired. You don't know somebody is brave until they're scared. You don't know somebody is convicted until those convictions are challenged. I have watched Eli in different situations, some of them not too difficult, some of them very difficult, draw upon that strength and show it over and over and over again. To the point where Eli has taught me a lot about what it means to stand up for something that they believe in and find the right words to get people to listen. Eli has done a lot to educate a lot of people, and that has not come easily, and it has probably many times been one of those situations where, let this cup pass from me, please. Somebody else do the work. Somebody else do the thing. Somebody else say the thing. Somebody else teach the lesson. But they always stood up and did it, and do so this year. I'm so proud of what they've written, and I'm so proud of how they end the show, and I'm so proud of the person that they've become. So thank you very much, Eli. Come on up. Look, the hardest thing you do every day is get out of bed. I mean, really. It's easier just to lie there, right? It's easier to sleep than it is to be awake. It's easier to lie down than it is to stand up. It's easier to stay in your room than to leave it. And it's easier to say nothing than to say something. I am always fascinated by what makes a person walk into an audition for the Monologue show, because you're being asked to do an awful lot of difficult things. You're being asked to write something that other people will judge. I mean, I know you're literally auditioning, so I guess you're being judged. To then perform, to then stand in a weird space where everybody's looking at you, and maybe you're not somebody who always wants people to be looking at you. It's always interesting to me. And for 4 years, Erin has walked into auditions and has surprised me with the things that she has to say and the way that she's arranged them, but also because she never hides how challenging it is and how much it takes of her, and how much that she invests in what she does. The easier thing would be to not do anything, and yet every year she's been a giant. Because she believes more powerfully in the person that she wants to be than she believes in fear or doubt or insecurity or anxiety, which have no small part in any of our lives, and certainly not hers. But the person that she wants to be is the person who stands on this stage and has stood on this stage for 4 years. And so every year that she's walked in here, she's been that version of her. And I'm just so proud of her and so impressed with all the things that she's accomplished in these 4 years. So thank you very much, Erin. Sammy! Yeah! Sometimes a senior spends 3 or 4 years figuring out who they are and figuring out how to speak their language, or how to invent their own vocabulary. And then sometimes a senior will appear at age 14, walk on the stage, and have a very clear vision of who she is, and a very clear vision of how she is going to perform. And that has been Sammy from the very beginning. She has been a star from the very beginning. And the reason why is that she has always known how to write a skit. She understands how to write jokes. She understands how to arrange conflict. She understands the rise and fall of like the plot pyramid that we teach you freshman year. Like she lives that. But she also understands, and this I think is like the most important thing that Sammy has done that like very few have matched her at. She understands how to take something that people like recognize as like a convention and tweak it or invert it. And so she takes her freshman year, she takes a sitcom, and she tweaks it, and then she inverts it. Or she takes Wizard of Oz, or she takes Harry Potter, or this year she takes Alice in Wonderland. She takes the conventions and our expectations for this, and she turns it into something else, something that can critique Yucca Valley, or critique the college admissions process, and all the while maintaining her sense of humor and her voice. Sammy has like a very clear sense of like how to be funny and how to bring the funny out of other people. She's one of the most generous writers we've ever had. She casts lots and lots and lots of people. Her skits are always big, and they often feature like tornadoes are spinning or things. But I just, it's been such a mainstay of the Monologue show for these past 4 years that I don't know how to imagine a show now without Sammy in blank. But of course she's going to have to go on and do that on the next stages. For taking 4 years on this stage, thank you so much. And you taught me a word last year. It's not really a word. And everybody's going to get mad at me because I think people have been trying to tell me not to say this word a little bit. The word is mem. And I asked, what is that? And she's like, it's mem. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what is it? She's like, it's mem, Mr. Ross. It's mem. And so like, she ran me through like 8 iterations of like saying it, and she's like, no, it's mem. Until I finally understood that what she means is it's like a moment of profound awkwardness where you have nothing else to say, and so you make a guttural noise that expresses your inarticulate awkwardness. Like that's what the word means. So now I know that word, and now like she's taught it to me. And I think that it's ridiculous that she's the one that taught it to me because like she is not an inarticulate, awkward person. She might feel that way. And she might like play that role in many of her friendships or many of her relationships. But like all you need to listen to is 3 lines of dialogue from any one of the pieces that she's written, whether it be comedic or serious, and you understand that like not only does she know exactly what to say, she knows exactly how to say it. She's a very, very funny writer and a very funny person, but she's also a person who is really interested in shame, in guilt, in pain, in trauma, in like what it means to be wounded and to have to deal with those wounds. She's interested in anger. She's interested in like the expressions that anger takes in our lives, and she's found some of the most creative ways to write about them. Whether it be this year, with an empty seat, or last year with like the physical embodiment of like a sin on trial. She's always found a way to like really explore these deep and complex emotions in a way that like is far beyond what the average high school student is capable of doing. I don't know if I meet many people who are less worthy of the word mlem than you, which is so ironic that you taught it to me. But I'm glad that you did. So for teaching me about mlem, but also like transcending it ridiculously, thank you so much. All right, Elena. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna say it. Elena is one of the best writers I've ever worked with. I've worked with. Yeah. I'm not supposed to say that because like dads aren't supposed to have favorites. But look, I can't say anything else. She is an extraordinarily gifted writer in every sense. On a craft level, on a technical level, but also on a level of ambition. I mean, you compare what she did this year to what she did last year, you could not find two more different pieces. But the real key to being a good writer is you have to feel something. If you don't feel anything, it doesn't matter how good you are with shaping a sentence. It doesn't matter how many words you know. If there's no pain in the writer or no laughter in the writer, there's not going to be any pain or laughter in the words. You have to feel something deeply. I was made deeply uncomfortable by what she wrote this year, more than any other piece about depression that I've ever seen, because it was so distinct and clear and vivid in its imagery. I've never seen a teenage piece like that. I've never seen an adult piece like that. It was especially painful because I know her and have watched her and have admired her and worked with her. Her greatest triumph was writing that piece. Because it took all of her, technical powers. It took all of her professional ambition, but it also took all of her emotion, all of it. It took her friendship, it took her fear, it took her anxiety, it took her pain, it took her shame, it took her hope. It's all in there. It's one of the most remarkable achievements I've ever seen. And I've been around all state runners, and I've seen people do astonishing things on this stage. But looking at what she's done with this piece, I don't have any words to praise it enough. She is the consummate writer, and she has done the consummate work this year. So thank you, Alina, for. I need to know, did I forget anybody? I did. Come on up here, Captain. Last year, she won the award for Best Comedic Piece. And the reason that she won that is because nobody knows how to write her humor like she does. Nobody knows how to be her funny. You know how hard it is to tell somebody else's joke, but nobody could write what she's written. And nobody could write it the way that Catherine has written it. This was a really moving piece that she wrote this year, because it's reckoning with one of the foundational relationships of your life, and trying to find the language for it at a time when, like the moon, it still has like a gravitational power over you. And as funny as her piece was, it also was like honest and emotional and powerful. And so it's a major achievement. I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for what you've done. I want you to thank you for like your voice, which is so distinct and clear and unlike any others that have been on this stage. Thank you very much. Sahithi, come on up. Last year she wrote a piece about a kid who vanished, and it was one of the most impactful things I've had, because it was something I'd been thinking about for a long time. Kids on your roster who just disappear. The truth that I believe in is that like we all owe each other something, whether we're strangers or just casual acquaintances or we're just like people in a room together. Like we all owe each other something, and the great like handshake that the world is trying to make us is that you're all on your own. You're all free agents, and to your own selfish impulses, you need to be loyal, and that's it. You don't need to worry. It's a shrug emoji if somebody disappears, but this is not true. We feel things for people who disappear. We feel things for others. Sakiti didn't get to deliver that piece last year because she was called away, and so she delivered it this year in Writers Week. But what she did this year was she wrote a piece about like the moments in your life that matter, and the moments that like define you, whether it be love or whether it be pain, whether it be like surprise or just like the weird, threshold of like adulthood that we have to pass through vis-a-vis the SAT or whatever. So what she's really done is, in these last several years, think about what is the right way to spend your life, and what are the moments that define us. And as she closed the show, like that's exactly what she did. She wrote a piece that defines her, and in the act of like, expressing her conscience and her values, she has defined herself. So for taking this time to make that happen, congratulations and thank you for all right, yeah.
Can we do, like, once we're all done, can we do a picture of, like, all the seniors together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we can do that.
I don't want to
Yeah.
cry right now.
We actually have a little something for you. You recognized us, and now it is our time to recognize you. I think we can all agree that in some way Mr. Rossi has touched us in such a profound way. There is no other teacher at NICLA who can provide these opportunities to allow us to express ourselves, to get up on stage and perform what we want, when we want. He allows us. He is the microphone for the voice. I'm very awkward.
No, it's in the hallway. You're fine.
You're doing amazing. As tradition, flowers. And we decided to put together something a little bit more unique for your gift. What we have here is a couple where we were everybody in the past to write 2 sentences or so about the monologue show today. So it's kind of like a little mini poetry book. So we had as many people in the past write.
I love it. All right, listen, we got 2 shows tomorrow. Fun tonight, but we got to be back here tomorrow because we got to do this twice more. Hey, seniors, have fun at Senior Spectacular tomorrow night. Juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, after the show is done, we need to clean the black box, we need to strike the set, and stick around because I have a very special announcement.
Wait, where are you going to go in? You're pregnant.
I'll make the announcement now, but I'll go into greater detail tomorrow. So, we're going to try and take a monologue show to Theater Fest next week. That's something that we're going to try and do next year.
We haven't taken it in over 9 years.
Yeah, I'll explain some more tomorrow.
Rossi!